Hello Cancer, and welcome to my channel Tarot by Gabrielle. This is going to be a general reading for Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus signs, looking at your connection to the person that you are dealing with and needing to learn the most from right now. We're looking at all three sides of the connection. We've got your energy toward it, their energy toward it, and the energy in between it. The concept being that there are three sides to every story. So we're looking at your version of the truth, their version of the truth, and this higher level unbiased truth in the middle. This middle section is looking at what is the deeper purpose of the connection and what is the best way for you to move forward in order to align further with your higher self. As I do in all of my readings, I've pulled the overall energy and clarified those messages, as well as the overall theme for the reading, which we'll jump into in just a second. But I still have a different tarot deck I'll be pulling from for each side of this connection, and it's out of the frame, but I also have the advice deck I'll be using to close out the reading in the extended. Any information on the extended reading or on booking a personal reading with me is in the description box below. Last thing, please remember that these are general readings. They are not here to resonate fully for everyone, and they won't resonate fully for everyone. So do please remember to take what does resonate and helps your personal situation and leave what does not. On that note, the whole reading can be reversed. If that is the case for you, that's totally fine and totally normal. Again, the point is to take what helps and leave what doesn't. All right, Cancer, let's jump on in. On your side of this connection, you have it is worth it with the Hangman in reverse. So I feel like you're really holding out or holding on to this connection. Now this it is worth it card kind of gives me this vibe of like, I'm being poked and prodded and I'm having to constantly stitch myself back up and it hurts, but it's worth it. And I feel like that's kind of the way that you feel about this connection is you're like, it's hard and it sucks and it's painful, but I believe it's worth it. Now this person, they have it's all an act with the Five of Wands. The way that this person is acting and the way they actually feel are not aligned. This Five of Wands is very much this energy of like some sort of internal conflict. Now that internal conflict could be directly reflected in an external conflict going on in the actual connection, but I feel like the majority of the way that they're acting has to do with like what's going on within them and doesn't really have much to do with you. Now it's hard because obviously, you know, it's a spiritual concept. Don't take other action or other people's actions personally. You know, it has more to do with them than it does us. That's not so easy, right? Especially when you're dealing with like personal relationships, romantic relationships, like it's not so easy to just separate yourself from the way that someone's acting. But what we can do is make sure we're protecting ourselves because in between this connection, there will be a return with the Seven of Wands here. So if this person is out of your life at this time or like if there's separation here, I do feel as if there's going to be some sort of return here. Maybe it's in the form of this person. Maybe it's in the form of someone who has a similar energy to them. And the universe is saying, you got to set boundaries. You got to make sure you're standing up for what you need, that you're being honest about what it is that you're looking for, what it is that you desire. But ultimately just making sure you're protecting your value because the overall theme of the reading is new love. So there is love. You are deserving of love that is different than what you've experienced, meaning you are deserving of love that is better than what you've experienced. And I feel as if sometimes we're so used to relationships being so painful that we almost justify the way that they hurt us because we think that the amount or the extent of the pain that we experience means that that relationship is like greater. But when we do that, we have a tendency to block ourselves off from what we really deserve because we're accepting what it is that we like as good as we think it can get. So I don't know. I think that there's a lot more to this than just like what meets the eye, especially if you're dealing with someone who maybe is being a little bit prideful and that's why they're acting a certain way or not, acting a certain way, but you can't control other people, right? All we can do is control ourselves. So let's start with Cancer side of this connection. It is worth it with the Hangman in reverse. All right. Cancer side of this connection to the person they are dealing with. Six of Pentacles in reverse, the Death, and the Ace of Swords. All right. So with the Seven of Pentacles here on the bottom of the deck, I feel like the underlying message of this is like commitment. Now, commitment goes so much further than just like the verbal commitment of like, yes, I want to be with you. Yes, I'll marry you. Like whatever the case is. It is showing up, especially when it's hard, for the connection, to work through things, to be there for the other person, to support them. especially when insecurities are involved and pride starts to get kicked up. And I feel like what you're experiencing in this connection here, Cancer, what you feel is that it's like you gave a lot to this just for it to go nowhere. Now, this death card, I do feel like this connection is currently in separation. I don't think this person is currently in your life, especially with the there will be a return. But that's what it feels like, is it's like you gave a lot just like for it to end the way that it did, or for it to amount to nothing. And that can be really hard, right? Like when we're giving a lot to people, we can start to, and maybe they walk away, or like you're forced to walk away. We could start to go, man, like am I ever going to get the love that I ultimately deserve? Like, are things ever going to work out for me in love? This is Cancer's side of this connection. The Devil. Okay. So there's a bit of an attachment that you've created to this connection. This idea that this person is as good as it can get for you, or that it has to be them, or if it's not them, then nothing better will ever come along, or maybe you've labeled them as a twin flame, or you've declared them as your person or your soulmate, and you've made this decision that they are the only person that can ever make you happy. We've all been there. We've done it. But we have to be aware of when we are creating an attachment to a love that isn't capable of being what we deserve. Now, I'm not saying that that's the case here, but I do feel like with this Devil energy, it's like you've been willing, because you see so much good in this, you have so much love and care for this person, you've been willing to put up with so much of the low out of hopes for the high. And we have a tendency to do that. When we get into connections with people, that especially in the beginning of a connection, it's exciting and there are chemicals flowing. You've got the serotonin and the oxytocin and the dopamine, and it's exciting, and all of those wonderful things are happening. And especially if you're dealing with someone who is like wishy-washy, or one foot in, one foot out, or shows up sometimes but not so much others, or is just playing games, it can be really hard to really settle into the connection. And so those exciting chemicals never really fully go away. When you settle into a healthy relationship, eventually, this is like kind of when the honeymoon phase wears off, eventually those chemicals lessen, and you're kind of left with, okay, is this the connection that we're both willing to work on? Without those chemicals, is this still worth it? But that doesn't really happen until both people are committed and settled into the relationship. So when you're dealing with someone who's maybe a little bit non-committal, or who's a little breadcrumby, or who's just kind of confusing in general, it's hard to really ever settle into the connection. So those chemicals are intense, and you hold on for those highs that the relationship gives you. You hold on through extremely low lows, and you're willing to put up with a lot of really crappy stuff out of hopes for that next excitement that the connection brings. And it can keep you stuck in this pattern of holding on to what isn't necessarily good for you, because you're hoping that things eventually settle and get better, but yet you're accepting less than what you deserve in the process. So I feel like, this is an energy of understanding that, first of all, relationships are actually not that hard. They're not that hard, and they don't have to be that painful. But we're often taught that they are, or that they do. I saw this video, and I mentioned this in a couple of my readings, but this girl, it was a TikTok, and she was like, I want, to hear from people who are in healthy long-term relationships, what your experience was in the first 6 months. And the comment section was crazy, because almost every single comment was the exact same. And it was that it was easy. They knew how the other person felt. They were never second guessing. They could trust them. There were no games. There were no, who's going to text who back. There was none of that. It was just clarity and commitment and honesty and vulnerability on both sides. And that was also my experience with the relationship that I finally have found healthy love for myself. After years of dealing with toxic relationships. And it really is easy. The people who are meant for you will love you in the way that you deserve, but sometimes we don't think we can have that. So we hold on to the people that hurt us, and we say, oh, this is as good as it can get for me, and we're willing to put up with so much, even though it's hurting us. for what it could potentially be. All right, Cancer side of this connection. And I get it. I've been there. Like, I've created attachment to relationships in the past where I was like, oh, this is as good as it's ever been, or this, I've never felt this way before, or it must be this person. And like, sitting in where I'm at now in my life, I'm so grateful that none of those worked out, because those weren't as good as it could get for me. So the universe is saying you are deserving of new love. Now, I'm not saying it's not this person, okay? Like, that it can't be this person. I'm saying you are deserving of the love that you're looking for and that you desire, but you're attached to the love that you're used to. The bare minimum, maybe a little bit of playing the games and the toxicity that comes with that, because it's exciting and it's invigorating, but it isn't safe, and it doesn't make you feel valued, and it doesn't mean there's not that level of certainty that comes with healthy relationships. So this is about kind of almost getting in tune with a different idea of what it is that you're looking for, and making sure that instead of focusing on how you feel about others, that you're focusing on how other people make you feel. Because if you're not feeling loved and valued and secure and chosen, that's what matters. Chemistry is common, and you can find it in a lot of different people, but you can't find someone loving you and someone knowing how to love you and being willing to show up for that love is rare. And so you have to make sure you're looking and paying attention to how people make you feel instead of for how you feel about other people, because I feel like this person makes you feel the way you're used to feeling when it comes to relationships. Undervalued, not chosen, underappreciated, whatever that case might be. All right, Cancer side of the connection. The Fool in reverse, a new beginning that isn't able to... So this is all about you attracting the love that you're looking for. 6 of Wands, 10 of Cups. This is all about you finding the love that you've been looking for. But it's almost like it's this cycle that I feel like has appeared. Yeah, it's in reverse. The cycle that has appeared in this connection is blocking you from being able to have that love. When I met my fiance, and after, we, started being serious, I realized that I didn't actually know what love meant. I had never actually experienced the kind of love that I get to experience in my current relationship. And that's because I had never had it before. And we tend, you don't know what an experience is like until you've had it, right? But I spent so much time looking for love in the wrong places because I genuinely didn't know what it was or that I was deserving of it. And I feel like this connection to this person, it's like, I feel like you've been putting up with so much, and it's up to you to kind of break out of the cycle of people not treating you the way you deserve to be treated. Because that's all that's in your control, right? But let's see what this person is dealing with. It's all in act with the 5 of Wands. This person's energy toward Cancer. Two of Wands in reverse. So they're out of alignment with themselves, with their highest good here. Hermit in reverse. There's a lot of reverse cards. Preferring loneliness. Now, you know how I said, like, you are kind of, this love is a reflection of the love that you're used to? I feel like this person is very used to being alone. Like, they're very used to not having the love that they deserve also. Now, that can kind of... I feel like that's being reflected in 2 different ways here, because I feel like that's a mirrored wound within you. I feel as if you also have this, you're used to not experiencing the love that you deserve, but instead of looking for it in someone who isn't providing it like you are, they're pushing it away from someone who is. And I think that that's where we have to understand, and I said this at the beginning, that how someone acts has very little to do with us. And we have to learn to understand that people can only meet us where they're at today. And I feel like this person is used to loneliness, like they're used to being, to pushing people away, or to being on their own, or to not having the love that they want. And so you come around and you show up with it, and they're like, well, I don't know what to do with this, push it away. And then you, because you're used to not having it, are looking for it in someone who's pushing you away. That's so common, and I see it literally all the time. And I think that, it comes from this place of believing that we have to change or fix people in order to receive the love that we deserve and desire, when in reality we're stuck in a cycle of just attracting people who don't know how to love us the right way. And I feel like that's kind of what's happening here. Because, I don't know. I think that there's more, I don't know. Because, this person isn't making decisions that, like, align with what's best for them. It's like their actions, like, don't reflect how they really feel. This person's energy toward Cancer. Six of Wands with the Ten of Swords. They're holding on to a lot of past pain from their, from past relationships in some way. I don't know if they've experienced betrayal or abandonment or, whatever the case might be in their relationships, but I feel like their goal has been to avoid this. Now, when we lead with our wounds, we are on some level trying to protect ourselves from being hurt, and that can manifest in so many different ways. But it feels as if that's what this like inner conflict that this person is dealing with is it's like they want love. They want to be loved in the way that you're loving them, but like they're so afraid of getting hurt that I feel like they're pushing it away even though they desire it. And that's why you're probably like willing to hold on, is because maybe you have a lot of empathy for this person. Maybe you're like, I'm willing to love you anyway, or I'm willing to be that person that shows you what love is, or whatever the case is. But you don't deserve to be hurt in the process of showing somebody else they're deserving of love, okay? Because when that's happening, what you are basically saying is you are more deserving of love than I am. And you make other people more special than you are and more important than you are, and you self-abandon for the sake of the connection, which in turn will lead to you experiencing abandonment, because our relationships are a direct reflection of what's going on within us. So the way this person is acting, the way they're behaving, the things that they have done, doesn't have anything to do with you. It doesn't determine your value, doesn't determine what's possible for you in love. What it is a reflection of what you're used to. So what we have to figure out is how to break you out of that cycle so that you can attract the love that I feel the universe is trying to bring your way. Even if it is in the form of this person. Okay, this person's energy toward Cancer. Four of Cups, Seven of Pentacles in reverse. Their focus is not on the right stuff here. It's like I feel like this person would be kind of the typical looking for problems where problems don't exist, like trying to find something wrong. Now, if you go looking for something wrong, like you're gonna find it. It's kind of, if you're always on edge and always worried about being hurt or somebody else betraying you or hurting you, you're always going to read into other people's actions through the lens of your fear and insecurities. And maybe both people are doing that, but that's definitely a message coming up for this person. Is it's like, I feel like they're finding reasons to push you away. They're finding reasons to create distance here because that's what feels safer for them, even though they desire the closeness. Which is hard because, of course, that's possible. The closeness and what it is that you're both looking for in love is possible. But at the same time, if somebody else is pushing you away, you don't have control over that. And if you are stuck in this cycle of being hurt over and over again because of somebody else's past pain, you're in the cycle of trying to bear the burden of and heal their wounds for them, which is only going to end up hurting you in the process. It's kind of and I've said this in readings in the past, it's kind of the equivalent, right? Like of this person, they've got this inner battle going on, and like you step in and you try and get in the middle of fighting this battle for them, and you just end up wounded. And I feel like that's kind of what has happened here. And I feel like this is a cycle that either keeps occurring for you in your love life or is specifically happening in this connection, and it's keeping you stuck in the love that you're used to instead of the love that you want and deserve to experience. So I do feel like there's definitely a deeper spiritual purpose for this connection, because I feel like this is pointing you toward like, I feel like you and this person have mirrored wounds. Like, I feel like that's why it's maybe easy for you to have empathy or to understand where they're coming from, because maybe you have similar wounds or similar feelings or experiences. And maybe you're like, oh, I get it. Like, I get why you act this way. I get why you push away love. I get why you don't feel deserving. Like, I get it. But, you know, we can't bear the burden of somebody else's wounds or trauma or burdens. We have to be willing to understand that you, Cancer, have to be willing to realize that you are deserving of what it is that you're giving. You deserve people who are both willing and able to show up in the way that you deserve. And it looks as if where this person is at, like on their healing journey, they're not at a place where they have the capacity to show up for this connection the way that you deserve, because they're so focused on not getting hurt. When you're focused on not getting hurt, then you're not focused on how to give and receive love in a healthy way. You're focused on how to protect yourself, how to keep distance from people, how to, you're constantly on edge. You're going to project insecurities. You're going to find the first reason to push the other person away. So when you're coming from a place of how to not get hurt, you're not going to be fully open to the experience of love, because love and trust go hand in hand. And this person has trust issues, and maybe you do too, okay? But I feel like a lot of that is why this connection maybe has been so painful or so powerful for both people, is because there are mirrored wounds here, which indicates a deeper spiritual purpose, which is why I feel there's this attachment. Now, there's something that I've learned, and I know that people aren't going to be happy with me when I say this, but, if people really knew what having a twin flame meant, nobody would want to meet their twin flame, because it is not something that is a fun romantic experience, okay? It is hardcore, and it does not have to do anything with the other person. So this isn't a message for everyone, but if you believe you are dealing with a twin flame, separate the journey from them, because it has absolutely nothing to do with this person and everything to do about how you're needing to heal, what's needing to, to be faced within yourself. It has nothing to do with the other person. It never has, and it never will, okay? The romantic aspect is literally the least important aspect of a twin flame journey. And the cool thing is, when you get to the other side of healing that twin flame journey takes you on, you're going to attract the love that you deserve and desire. Whether or not it is this person, you are going to have what it is that you deserve. So separate your journey from theirs and focus on what you can do to make sure you are protecting your value, because that is the absolute most important part. That's what this is teaching you. A twin flame journey isn't teaching you how to love somebody else unconditionally. It's teaching you how to love yourself unconditionally by choosing yourself over somebody that mirrors you, which is what makes it so hard. Okay, we're going to hop on over to the extended. Like I said, that wasn't for everyone. That was a specific message for somebody out there. You have There Will Be a Return with the 7 of Wands. I'm going to pull messages looking at the deeper purpose of the connection, the best way for you to move forward in order to align further with your higher self. Thank you so much, Cancer, as always, for your support of my channel. I do obviously hope that this reading helped and resonated with you in a way that you were needing today. And as always, Cancer, I wish you nothing but love and healing on your journey moving forward. All right, bye, Cancer.